1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 16 asks, "Who has known the mind of the Lord that he may instruct him?" God's wisdom and ways are far above mankind. Isaiah 55 verses 8 and 9 says, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts." However, as the second part of 1 Corinthians 2 and verse 16 says, "But we have the mind of Christ." Let's take a moment to consider the truth that we have been given the mind of Jesus Christ. First, his mind is revealed by his Spirit. 1 Corinthians 2 verses 6 through 16 identifies the fact that the ways of God has been revealed to mankind by the Spirit of God. In this text, Paul is making the point that mankind's own human reasoning and wisdom is not sufficient to know the wonderful things of God. However, the Spirit searches all things, yes, the deep things of God, 1 Corinthians 2 and verse 10. In fact, Paul says no one knows the things of God except the Spirit of God, verse 11. Now, it was the work of this Holy Spirit to guide the apostles and prophets into all truth, as you might see in John 16, verse 13, and Ephesians 3, verses 3 through 5. Today, appreciate that when you read the message recorded by these inspired writers in the pages of the Bible, you are learning the things that are in the mind of Christ. Second, a spiritually focused mind is required. Not everyone will be receptive to the things revealed by God. In fact, 1 Corinthians 2 and verse 14 says, "But the natural man does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, nor can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned." Paul makes the same basic point in Romans 8, verses 5 through 8. The individual who is focused on physical or earthly things will never understand the mind of God so as to trust and obey what it reveals. However, the spiritually focused individual will accept these things by faith and obey whatever God says. Third, consider the significance of having the mind of Christ. Jeremiah 10, verse 23 reveals that it is not in man who walks to direct his own steps. Proverbs 14, verse 12 says that there's a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Therefore, without having the mind of Christ being revealed to us, we would not know what does and does not please God. However, with the mind of Christ having been revealed in the pages of the Bible, we can know exactly what we must do in order to be right in God's sight. There are many questions folks have about what is or is not pleasing to God. Do I have to be baptized in order to be saved? Does God approve of the use of mechanical instruments in worship? Does God care how I clothe myself? This is just a sample. However, 2 Timothy 3 and verses 16 and 17 reminds us that God's inspired word provides us with everything we need to live in a way that's approved of God. Let us all appreciate the fact that we have been given the mind of Christ. If we will only be diligent to study and apply it daily.